What's up, YouTube? It's Eric, a Lions fan. Thanks for clicking on this video. Guys, we're doing the 2018 Detroit Tigers wrap-up, at least what I think as a Detroit Tigers fan. Now, you guys know watching my videos here, I'm a big Detroit Tigers fan. Probably more so than I am a Lions fan, but even though I'm a pretty die-hard Lions fan. But I know some of you guys kind of like the Detroit Tigers kind of content that I put out here. I know a couple of you guys have not said anything, but maybe been lurking, but haven't really said anything about the Tigers season. Maybe you just don't want to... You know, I look like a fool every time coming out here and doing videos like this, but I kind of really want to know what your guys' thoughts were on the Tigers season, or anyone in the AL Central here, or anyone within the Major League Baseball scene. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments, because I know some of my subscribers and maybe some of my viewers, I know they like the baseball content that I put on here. Hopefully, I've done a good job to kind of give you guys a good wrap-up of the season. And let me know if I forgot anything, too, guys. Go ahead and put it down in the comments. But before I begin, guys, hit that subscribe button if you like this kind of videos, and make sure you go ahead and hit that bell notification so you guys get more videos just like this one. Guys, let's go ahead and get started here. The Detroit Tigers ended up at 64-98, which is under a sub-400 team. I think it's like 398 or something like that. Ended up being third in the division, but three of the top five teams in the AL Central were in the bottom five of the league, the whole entire league. So what does that tell you? To me, it tells me that the team was, or that the division was very, very weak. Even the second place Minnesota Twins didn't even crack 500. They were at 78 and 84, and the Indians were the only team above 500, and they made the playoffs at 91 and 72. Really, I don't think the Tigers ever won at Cleveland when Cleveland came to play them. I don't ever remember them winning a game against Cleveland. I don't know, that very well may not be. Maybe in the second half of the season, which I didn't really even watch because they were getting drubbed so bad. I can't remember them ever winning a game against Cleveland. But Cleveland seems to be the team to beat, at least in the division. Minnesota's trying to get there, although they had some suspensions and some injuries that kind of hampered them there at the first half of the season. Then when those people came back in that second half of the season, they started, I think they were at fourth at the time. And then when those folks came back from injury, and I think one of them had like a 50-game or 100-game suspension. I can't remember which one it was. I think it was a 50-game suspension. And then they kind of came up and they toppled the Tigers to grab second place. So, but there's some good things to say about Minnesota. I don't really know anyone else about the Tigers and anywhere else, but I'm going to kind of give my thoughts on them here. The White Sox ended up at 62-100. Honestly, I don't know what's going on with that team. The team kind of seems to be... I guess I really don't know what's going on with that team. You would have thought by now, at least if you're a White Sox fan, you would at least thought that they would have kind of came around here, maybe challenging for the division title, challenging with Cleveland and Minnesota now. I honestly don't know what's going on with that. If any one of my Chicago folks out there that kind of watch some Detroit Tigers videos of mine, and maybe watch baseball in general out there in the White Sox land in the south side of Chicago, let me know what's going on over there. I mean, to me, looking at that team should be doing much better than what it is. Maybe they've had some trades that gone bad, or injury bugs hit them. I just don't know. I don't follow the White Sox, so... But I would be interested to know what's been going on in Chicago, the south side of Chicago. And the Kansas City Royals at 58-104. The Kansas City Royals team just seems to be, you know, it kind of seems to be that bottom of the basement kind of team right now. And I know they won the World Series just a couple of years ago. I think it's going on like 5 years now that team's won a World Series. I know it kind of takes a while to get the rebuild going on, but historically that team has not done well. Maybe right now they're purging their contracts, kind of like what Detroit's doing, but maybe they're on the other side now. They're starting to maybe get some talent in there. Hasn't really kind of grabbed hold just yet, maybe trying to get right back up there to the division title and maybe possibly a ALCS or even another World Series appearance. But I'd like to know what's kind of going on in Kansas City here as well. The Detroit Tigers were shut out 18 times. That's far, far too many for this team. I kind of watched a little bit of Wojo's kind of, if anyone knows who he is, he's out of Detroit. I don't know if he's with the Detroit Free Press or Detroit News, one of those newspapers. He's kind of an article or a journalist for those, one of those two papers. He went to kind and say that it's far, far too many, and I kind of agree with him there. It's far too many that's been going on. And they have 11 players that came up kind of to start for the Tigers, kind of be in their rookie year, maybe get their feet wet up here in the pros. That's kind of where I'm doing the top level of the pro game. I kind of thought they did okay. Some did okay, some didn't really do all that well. Like I said, the real big disappointment, I think, was James McCann and Shane Green. Those two just didn't play well. And I'll go into that here in just a little bit. So, kind of going on with, now we're getting into the kind of the players area of the team. I initially thought that early in the season when the Tigers went ahead and they traded Mike Fears, or Fires, I guess is how you would say, Fears, Fires. You guys know I hack up names. But anyway, to kind of go along with that, at the time I thought the Tigers were kind of maybe, I didn't realize he was as old as he was, number one. And I'll kind of get onto that here in just a moment. But when they kind of first traded him, I kind of thought, what the hell is Detroit doing? He's maybe he's not the best pitcher out there. He's a serviceable starting pitcher for us. He could have been the number 5 pitcher for us if the Tigers would have let him, or kind of would have hold on to him. But I think our pitching staff just needs experience now. But anyway, kind of getting back to Mike Fires here. I thought that he was a very, very good pickup for the Tigers. Now, I know they needed some folks on here. They needed to get more talent in. That's kind of why they traded him. I can't remember who they traded him for. Somebody probably knows on here. I didn't really, like I said, I didn't really dig in too deep on this. But my initial thoughts were, man, why did Detroit trade him? And then I kind of seen he was, I think he was 34, 33, 34 at the time, low to mid-30s. But I kind of thought, now that I kind of take a step back and I kind of look at it, I kind of thought that Detroit would have really benefited him, at least in the rebuild years. But then again, maybe they sat down and talked to him and they said, you know, Mike, we're in a rebuild phase right now where we don't really know what to really expect, number one, and number two, do you want to kind of go through our kind of rebuild process? And maybe he said no, and that's why Detroit ended up trading him. But I really kind of thought he would have been a good number 4, number 5 pitcher, starting pitcher for us, because I thought his stuff was usually pretty good when he went out there. And I don't know if it's necessarily people just didn't know about him, or what the deal was. But I really thought he could have been a serviceable pitcher for us if he would have stayed on with the team. But anyway, he's gone now. So, Mike, good. Hope you guys do. Hope you do much better, Mike. So, kind of going on to here. Martin, he went to the Indians, and everyone knows kind of how that played out. He was traded. Another kind of guy who was kind of I don't want to say necessarily a head scratcher, but I thought, man, he's kind of maybe a young talent. Somewhat of a young talent. Why did they trade him? And then he ended up having that bacterial blood infection that kind of sat him out all the rest of the year. On the reports that I'm reading, that date just back to August, which is just 2 months ago, they said it appears he's going to make a full recovery, and I think he's going to try and rejoin the Indians in spring training. I think that's what I read. But, man, that's pretty scary to get a blood infection like that, a bacterial blood infection, and you kind of be out the rest of the year, and then the rest of the time you're recovering and going through therapy and doing all that sort of stuff. So, but he seemed to be in high spirits. It didn't necessarily, I don't think it dampened his baseball enthusiasm or anything like that. It was just something that kind of, a fluke kind of thing happened, and it ended up putting him out for the rest of the year. But, yeah, it was kind of another one of those things where I thought, man, Detroit's kind of, I kind of questioned Al Avila at that point of, you did Mike Fears, and then you went ahead and you did Martin. He went to the Indians. It was just kind of one of those kind of fluke things, guys. And then I kind of want to talk about the Rally Goose here, just for a quick second. Now, you guys know that Goose, I can't remember all the details on him, but he ended up, I don't know if he was on the field and got spooked or something, but anyway, he ended up crashing into either into the wall or into the scoreboard or something like that, and the Goose kind of injured himself pretty bad. Well, the trainers, animal control came out, or the Tiger security, or someone came out and finally got the Goose. They got it in there to the animal hospital. I guess that's what it's called. I don't know what the actual name is. But anyway, he ended up making a full recovery, and then Detroit kind of rallied kind of around that. Well, just a couple of days after that, they kind of went on an 11-game losing streak. So really, the Rally Goose just really didn't help them. I mean, it was kind of a superficial kind of a thing to go on, maybe something to kind of try to rally the team around and kind of make them do better, but kind of is what it is there. And I want to ended up here with Rod and Mario and their altercation. Now, it wasn't really said what had happened, but what I heard was they were fighting over a chair, and it kind of got to a pushing and shoving, and maybe someone got put in a headlock, something like that. That's kind of the rumors that I'd heard, but you know, you can't have, I know that Rod and Mario necessarily weren't friends or anything like that, but come on. You can't be doing that in a professional kind of environment and expect to get away with it, number one. And number two, I knew those two weren't friends, but really, I mean, come on, you got to keep it professional. Even though if you don't like each other, you just got to do it for a couple of hours, and then you're done. Then you can kind of go on your own rest of the way. Yeah, we're going to kind of go on to the pitching now. I think the starters for the Tigers next year are probably going to be Zimmerman, going to be Boyd, going to be Norris, Fulmer, and Turnbull. I can't pronounce it. Never can pronounce his last name. I think they're going to be okay there. Not necessarily anything outstanding. Fulmer's probably going to be your ace, but Zimmerman probably second and third, fourth, and fifth are kind of going to be done by Boyd, Norris, and Turnbull. The bullpen's okay. It looked better late into the season, actually. It kind of looked like it was kind of gaining traction. I thought it kind of looked really good there at the last game, the last series against the Brewers there, even though the Tigers ended up losing that game. I thought they looked pretty good in that series. Not anything, you know, not outstanding or anything like that, but you could tell they were getting better. And it just so happens that, you know, they were kind of, that bullpen was kind of gaining traction, and kind of, it was kind of sad to see that kind of that last game and that bullpen doing as well as it was. And like I said, it wasn't anything outstanding. Green struggled. Was he injured? Did he have back issues? What was going on? And he ended up having 12 home runs. It's not good for being a closer for the Tigers. They talked about Jimenez, I think that's how you pronounce his name, getting into that closer role. He's going to get some starts at the closer kind of role, kind of see how he does. I think he has the stuff to do it. I think he maybe one or two more pitches to be a real effective closer. But I kind of like what I see from him. I will say that. Some of the other guys are probably going to be filling in. I like what Hardy did. I also like what Alex Wilson did. Even though I'm not a real big fan of Alex Wilson, you guys kind of know last season and maybe some of it into the first part of the season here, I was kind of ragging on him pretty hard. Kind of seems to maybe have kind of maybe got some confidence, or something's happened to where he's done better. Verhagen, and I liked Alcantara, I think that's how you pronounce his name, and Stumpf. I liked him. But anybody else on that kind of in the bullpen is probably going to be either shake your hands and say thanks but no thanks, or maybe kind of just trade it or something like that. I don't necessarily know what's going to happen to the rest of the bullpen there. It's just, and the big part is Shane Green. You cannot have 12 home runs being a closer and expect the Tigers to do well. So, anyway, guys, we're going to go on to number 3 here real quick. Now we're going to kind of start getting into the position players. And like I said before, James McCann had a little bit of a rough season this year. He was down, went from 253 to 220 batting average. His fielding was probably right about the same for where it was. I don't know if Hicks is going to get a chance back there, and maybe another Tiger, or maybe another one from Toledo, or maybe Double-A or maybe Single-A might come up through the ranks and be able to do that. I don't think James McCann is going to be back. He very well may be. I just don't know. I thought I heard him say that he accepted a tender offer or something like that. I don't know if that's true or not. He might be back. I just don't know what the Tigers are really going to do with him. Maybe they thought maybe it was an off year for James McCann. Maybe he can turn it around next year. But he did. I thought Hicks did just as good, if not just a little bit better, back there being the catcher, and maybe on the offense here too. Cabrera. Now, Miguel Cabrera to me is a little bit, I don't want to say this. I think number one, I think he's out of shape. Number one, I don't think he tries hard, being that he's a superstar. So I don't think when he gets a base hit or a grounder into the infield, I don't think he necessarily tries to run hard to first. He kind of just jogs. It's kind of look of laziness to me. Kind of gets under my skin a little bit. But I do still think he's a good player for us, but I think he's just overpriced right now, guys. And the Tigers have been trying to purge salary so they can kind of get their legs underneath them again and try to make another run towards to the playoffs and to the championship. But I don't know. I think he needs to really, I think he still needs to lose weight. He was still a very, I don't want to say large, but, you know, kind of a beefy and stocky guy. I know he kind of got to lift weights and do all that sort of stuff, but I don't think he needs to be at the size that he is. I think if he slims down a little bit, maybe cuts 20 pounds off him, he may just be a better hit. Maybe not hit as many home runs, but he would be a better hitter. And maybe some of the injuries that he's had will maybe subside. Now he's going to be in the DH because Victor Martinez is left, so he's going to get more. He's going to get more rest on the DH side, so he hopefully doesn't get injured as much. And he'll be rotating with Hicks, and I don't know if Jim Adducci's going to be back, but we're going to get to Jim Adducci here in a minute. I think that Hicks and probably Cabrera are probably going to go flip back and forth between there. Hicks will go from first base to catcher. That's kind of how I look at it, but that's just me. I really get irritated with Cabrera just jogging down to first when he has the infield hit. He's like, it's infield hit, I'm going to get out anyway. So Goodrum, I think he's a good piece. I think he could be one of the core pieces of the Tigers. I think he's like everyone else on here. They need experience. They need to get their legs underneath them. They can't be trying so hard to swing for the fences every time, even though I don't think Goodrum was. I think he's one of the ones that was a little bit smarter, maybe just to get a base hit instead of maybe kind of driving a home run. I know you guys know right around the 4th of July, I missed Goodrum's home run where it kind of creamed off my hand, and it kind of went to the backstop, and a little kid, maybe about 5 or 6, kind of got the ball. And that was pretty cool to see. But I know I really should have had that baseball. But anyway, but kind of going on with Goodrum, I think he's one of the core pieces, like I said. I think if Jacoby Jones can up his offensive production, I think he can really be a kind of a force to be reckoned with. He's quick on the bases. He's really good in the outfield. And I just think that if he gets his offense up, he could be another core piece of the Tigers. That's just me, but he's really got to work on his offense. He's really got to be patient at the plate. And to me, I think he looks at maybe too many balls that are strikes that he thinks are balls. Maybe kind of stick your bat out there, maybe see what happens. Maybe you might get a little poke at it, make good things happen. Nick Castellanos, a big question mark for the Tigers. Now, I know he's coming up to being a free agent. I think he might be a free agent this year. If not, it's next year. The Tigers are really going to have to know what they're going to do with him. Is he going to stay in the outfield? Do they want to pay him the money? He's another 300 hitter for the Tigers. He's got some power to his bat too, so figure around 20, 25, maybe even up to the 30 home run mark for Nick. He did it with any protection here either, because they knew how bad the Tigers were. They were like, well, we'll just pitch to Nick, and if he hits a home run, big deal. So, but I think Nick Castellanos is probably either going to be traded, he's going to be shopped around, or I don't think they'll just let him go. He's probably either going to be traded, or they're going to probably try to extend his contract. That's even if he wants to stay here too. But he knows the situation too. He knows the Tigers are not going to be contenders for a little while. He knows that. It's just a matter of, does he want to stay and does he want to stick around for the bunch of the losing seasons that the Tigers have, or does he want to kind of maybe go to a contender, or maybe someone that's up and coming that can get to a playoff spot and maybe get a division or a conference championship and then the World Series title? Remains to be seen. Jim Adduci, to me, I'm going to say below average to me. Jim Adduci is kind of one of those guys, especially at the last part of the year. He did not do well. I think at one point he went hitless in one of the series. It's not good. I don't know if the Tigers they're probably going to put him back down to AAA or AA ball, get his legs back under him, and maybe they might bring him back up. I don't know. Or maybe they just might say, or maybe they might shop him to somewhere else too. That very well could be as well. There's a lot of pieces that they're probably going to be moving around here, but we just don't know what the Tigers are going to do with him. Hicks, I already kind of talked about Hicks. He seems to be McCann's replacement at catcher. That's if McCann gets traded, or if they let him go or whatnot. Jose Iglesias, he's probably going to be gone too. I don't necessarily know. He's going to be a free agent this year. If the Tigers do get rid of him, they're going to end up missing his glove. That's for sure. I like his defense, even though I kind of think he showboats a little bit. I don't think he necessarily needs a showboat. He's a damn good defender as it is. He doesn't need to do all that cockiness stuff and do all that, but that's kind of my only nitpicking about Iglesias. I kind of wish that he was possibly just a little bit younger, so the Tigers might think about maybe extending his contract, but I just don't think the Tigers are probably going to keep Iglesias around. Candelario, I like him. I think he's good at third base. I don't think he's going to switch with Nick at third base. I think Nick's going to be out in the outfield if they keep him out in the outfield, if he stays with the Tigers. And I think Candelario is going to be at third. I like him. He's at third base. He needs some time in, but he's got a little pop to his bat. I think he's another core piece of the Tigers that they could really use. He went 224 and 19 home runs, and he had 539 at bats. So, I mean, that's pretty good. And 539 at bats is a lot of bats. So, the Tigers, I think, are really wanting to see what the kid can do. like I said, I think he just needs more time to settle in and to do all that sort of stuff. And that's just that's just the way it is. He's young, still kind of raw to me. I think like I said, I think he's a mainstay here. I think he's a core piece for the Tigers. Machado. Is Dixon Machado going to be our second baseman? I don't know. Or is somebody else going to get that job? Is Goodrum going to be at second base? I don't know, guys. I really don't know what's going to be. Or is another person going to come up here and take over that spot? Maybe Dixon Machado might be gone. Maybe back down to AA or AAA ball. I don't know that. I didn't see enough of Machado myself to know if he was a good player. He started out hot, I think, is what it was, and then kind of maybe 45, 50 games in, he kind of started cooling off, and he didn't really do all that well. I don't think he batted 200 past about coming up near the All-Star break is kind of where I think it was at, and he just kind of didn't do much better than that. So it kind of is what it is. And Vmart, he had a good career. I got to say that he was my favorite Tiger of all this season. Cabrera's another one. It's Cabrera, Nick, and Vmart this year for me. I like Victor a lot. I think he's at the right time kind of saying his graces. I think his bat kind of saved him this year, even though I kind of wish that maybe Victor could have taken a step back and maybe kind of was still on the roster, but maybe could have been that piece that the younger guys could have looked up to and maybe have asked him some questions and all that kind of sort of stuff. Victor, don't get me wrong, Victor did very well. I think he was like a 270 hitter, somewhere around there. A couple home runs, not too bad, being in the back end of his career. I like him, guys. I really do. I like him. But I know that his knees were bad. I know that he couldn't play. He's my age. He's 40, 41. At that point, you just kind of say, you know what, I'm just going to call it a career and be good with it and be gone. So I do like Victor a lot. And, guys, that's kind of really it on the position players and the pitching. I don't really have much to say on the coaching. I'm sure you guys do. I'm only going to talk about Gardenhire. He's got a lot of work to do, let's put it that way. And kind of when I was watching, I'm going to refer back to the Wojo's little video there. I think it's on Detroit News, where they had the three guys there. I think one of them was a Detroit Tigers scout, or maybe he was a retired scout, maybe kind of giving his own thoughts on it. And another guy was I think he was the beat writer for the Tigers. I can't remember the two guys' names. They escape me right now. But they did say that Gardenhire next year, he was kind of disappointed in how the kids in the AA, and AAA weren't being necessarily taught the fundamentals. Now, taught the fundamentals is kind of I think they know the fundamentals. I just don't think they practice the fundamentals that they're taught. It's kind of more or less what it is. Gardenhire said, next year, if I see kind of people overthrowing the cutoff guy, or if they're not hustling to first base or not hustling around the bases or anything like that, they're going to get set on the bench. And I kind of like that. It's kind of a new kind of wave coming in here. I think one of the guys there on the video said they're trying to instill that since about the 2015, 2016 year, or maybe 16 and 17 year, back when Brad Ausmus was around. They told him, they go, look, and he said that right in his interview. He was kind of disappointed, and Alavillia kind of pointed it out too as well. I think when he talked to, I think it was Gibson and Dan, oh God, what's his last name? I can't think of the guy's last name. The announcer for the Tigers there. I think he told them that, that things are going to change. You're going to see if kids aren't doing what they're told, they're going to get sat on the bench if they don't run out plays, if they don't do all that sort of stuff. And that's kind of my nitpicking too kind of stuff. The defense has to get better. The defense, they can't be making errors over to first base like I've seen them do time and time again. And Gardenhire's right. They can't be overshooting the cutoff man, trying to airmail it all the way towards the plate. Don't do that, guys. You guys know that if you airmail it to the plate, it's going to get there slower than if you hit the cutoff guy and have the cutoff guy throw it to home. It's proven to be true. So really, all it really boils down to is they have to run their balls out, hustle to first, and if you maybe get a double, hustle to second, and if you're on the bases, just plain out hustle, because good things are happening if you run hard and you make smart, you make good decisions and all that. Cut off your guy, hit your cutoff guy, don't try to sail it all the way to the plate, and you got to make good throws to first and maybe to second, because I've seen many times this year where they kind of tried to maybe try a little bit too much, and they really didn't have to do that. Just make a good throw to first, and it would have been an out. Instead, you try to kind of maybe put a little mustard on it, and it kind of flew off onto the side. Kind of had to make Hicks, and kind of had to make Cabrera, because there was one, it was way out of Cabrera's reach. He just kind of looked at it and just kind of went, looked at the other guy. I think it was Calandrio, and kind of went, you know, what are you doing, kind of stuff. So it was just one of those years for the Tigers. It was just young mistakes, all that sort of stuff. But I think they can be easily corrected with maybe a little bit of tough love. The offense does need hitters, guys. If you have your hitters being in the 250 range or better, which I know you've got a couple with Castellanos and Cabrera being your 300 hitters, maybe sprinkled in maybe like low 200s, but if most of your guys are hitting 250 or better, I think you're going to have a good team, and the defense has to be there, and the pitching has to be there as well. It's just going to be what's going to happen here, guys. The defense, that's my big points. The defense has to get better, and you got to have more hitting, because when you have the recipe, which we just seen here, it's a real bad recipe for disaster, guys. You're not going to win any games. You're going to lose 90 to 100 games or better, just as we've seen right now. So, guys, let me know what you guys think down in the comments. Let me know what you guys think. Did I miss anybody? I know I'm not real big on the baseball draft or anything like that, but let me know what you guys think down in the comments. I apologize for the long video, but I kind of wanted to get my thoughts in here on some folks, and my own personal opinion is really more or less what it is. But guys, let me know what you guys think down in the comments. Hit that subscribe button if you like these kind of videos, and make sure you hit that bell notification so you guys get notified for more videos just like this one. All right, guys, it's on to April. I'll see you guys in April for the Tiger stuff. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video, and hope to see you guys again soon. Deuces. Take care, guys. See you in April.